In today's show, we're digging into our brain. You'll learn all about what's happening in our brain when we're having the negative thoughts, and I'll share with you 3 ways you can pivot the next time you're faced with a situation that is triggering the negative thoughts. Come on in. It's time to break free from the negative thoughts and choose happy. Are you ready to stop the negative thoughts and live your life free of the limiting stories and fear that stands in your way of living a happy life? Hey girlfriend, welcome to the Choose Happy with Marie show. I am so happy you're here. My name is Marie, and for the majority of my life, I lived with negative thoughts that was often labeled as depression. My breakthrough happened when I broke free from the negative thoughts and I learned the power of choosing happy. In this podcast, you will learn positive self-talk using affirmations aligned with healthy habits, tangible ideas to connect with yourself to finally figure out what makes you really happy, and everyday living solutions that can help guide you in living a happy life. It's time to get off the hamster wheel of everyday living and intentionally living our life one choose happy choice at a time. Come on in. We are choosing happy. Hello, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Do you think much about negative thoughts? Do you think, why do I have them? And why does it seem like some of us have more of them than other people? Well, some of us can be really affected by negative thoughts. And if you're listening to the show, you're probably someone who is concerned about their negative thoughts, either for themselves and or for someone you care about. Negative thoughts can affect our mood, our personal relationships, and our work performance, affecting all areas of our life, including the relationship with ourselves. Why? Why do we get negative thoughts? We humans will focus more on things that can go wrong than things that can go right. So much so that just a negative event can hijack our minds for hours and even days, to the point that we can get so fixated on it, and it can be so detrimental to our work, to our relationships with others, to our health, and even our happiness. If you're new to learning about this negativity, there's something that I call the negativity bias. I don't call it, I refer to it because I've done a lot of research on the source of negative thoughts, and the negativity bias is one of those core sources. If you're not familiar with it, I invite you to check out episode number 4, titled Why Your Brain Focuses on Negative Things and Tips to Overcome the Negativity Bias. Once you start to understand that, for some of us, seeing the negativity first is just more powerful to some of us versus others. And I know it's not fair. I know because I'm one of those that the negativity comes first. I have to really be intentional so that I can see the positive side of things. But once we know that this is happening, and if it is happening to us, then it starts with awareness. Then with awareness, then we can choose differently. We can choose happy. That means choosing intentionally and pivoting ourselves to see the positive versus the negative. It requires effort at first, for sure. It requires that we're aware of what is happening. And then once we know it's happening, we can kind of, make a joke about it and just say, oh, well, there's my negativity bias again. Anyways, that's something that I do. And it just it just makes me laughing, and then just changes kind of like my biochemistry. And then I don't feel so negative because I'm just like, oh, it's that again. And, it doesn't need to control me. So what's happening when we are having the negative thoughts? There's 3 things that happen when we are having persistent negative thoughts. What happens when we're having negative thinking? The first thing, it can weaken our brain's ability to think things through. We can't think clearly. as an example, can you think of a recent situation where you could just not stop thinking negatively about it? All you can think of and all you could talk about with anybody that was around you was the negativity of the situation. It's like you have this dark cloud over you. That's negative thinking, and you can't think clearly when we are so caught in that negative cloud. The second thing that's happening when we are having negative thoughts is negativity breeds negativity. It's like an addiction that we can't see, and maybe we don't even recognize it. I talk about this a little further in episode number 28. Are you addicted to negative thinking? Sharing what I did and I continue to do to break free from negativity. And I'll be putting the links to these 2 episodes in the show notes, so you don't have to write anything down. You'll see it at the end of the episode. And the third thing that's happening when we are having negative thoughts is some of us are actually unconsciously using negativity kind of like a defense mechanism. Protecting ourselves just in case things don't work out. By assuming the worst, our mind is protecting us from not being disappointed in case things don't work out. For example, maybe you're looking forward to getting a new job and you've completed the interview, and there you go, the negative self-talk starts kicking in. You're thinking about all the ways you did something wrong in the interview. And maybe you're thinking that, well, maybe you're not the best person for the job. What you're doing is protecting yourself just in case you don't get it. But what you're not thinking about is, what will you do when you do get the job? Because maybe you will. Maybe you will. So what happens when we change our thinking? Well, when we change our thinking, that's like a new habit, right? Our brains like consistency. That's why we have habits. Habits are automatic responses to situations so that we don't have to think about what to do next. When we have negative thoughts about a situation, for example, the brain will automatically stay with the negative thought because that's what it knows. It knows that from previous thoughts on the same situation, that's how the reaction was. When we start to think differently, when we start thinking positive thoughts, it can feel different at first and even hard. The pathways are not developed yet. We have to break down the negative thought to replace it with a positive thought. And that's where the self-help tool of affirmations can come in. Affirmations are positive statements of what we want in our life. We say the positive of what we want regarding a specific situation. Over time of saying the positive words, we are building new pathways in our brains, and that one day you'll find that you're thinking differently about a situation that in the past you may have only thought negatively about. And that's because you've introduced an angle of positivity into your brain about that situation. I want to share with you 3 ways that you can start pivoting your negative thoughts when you find yourself in that negativity stream of thinking. The first one, when you have a negative thought, try to follow it up with a positive thought. Find something positive about the situation. Think of it like a silver lining approach. I know sometimes that's not possible, but think of something positive, and no matter how small. And then hold on to that positive thought for like 30 seconds to a minute if you can. For example, you're in a situation that suddenly turns negative, and I can give an example that I recently experienced, which is why I can relate right now. Your flight is delayed unexpectedly, and you're already checked in at the airport. Okay, you want to get on your trip. You have 2 hours to wait. Yeah, you could get stuck in the negative thought cycle there and be pissed off and angry. Or you could say, I just gained 2 hours. You could buy a magazine at the convenience store or book that's in the store in the airport. Maybe you can read something on a subject that you never read about, and so that would get you interested and help you pass the time. Or you could connect to Wi-Fi and start researching for your next holiday. So you see what I'm suggesting here is just looking at a situation that turns negative and you just kind of say, okay, I'm in it. I can't change it, or if you can't influence it, how can I make the best of it? What we're doing here is forming new neural connections in our brain. We're associating whatever the situation is happening as having the potential to be something positive in some way. And again, it's kind of like that glass half full, half empty mindset. I'm sure you've heard that quote before. The second way that you can start pivoting your negative thoughts, and this one is pretty basic, but we often forget about it. Take the time to breathe. Intentionally breathe. When we're starting to feel stressed, worried, or anxious about something, we need to nudge ourselves to get to the present moment and breathe. There's something I really like to do called the 5-4-3-2-1 approach. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's often referred to people who are experiencing anxiety, and I do experience anxiety. And it goes like this. So it's the 5-4-3-2-1 approach. You can search it online. Just type in those numbers and you'll find it. But I can give you a little summary right now. So you take a couple of deep breaths first, and you're paying attention to your 5 senses. And it goes like this. You start from the number 5 and you go down. Number 5, identify 5 things that you see around you. Anything that is in your surroundings. It can be a spot on the wall, a spot on the floor, a pen on your desk, a bowl on the table, anything that you can see, that your sight can see. And then number 4, identify 4 things that you can touch that is around you. It can be the ground under your feet. You can touch the desk or table that is near you. You can even touch your hair or your skin. And then number 3, identify 3 things that you can hear. It can be outside of your body, in your surroundings, and it can even be inside. Like if you hear your stomach rumbling, that can be something to hear as well. But it could be a bird calling, someone talking, a child laughing, a dog barking, anything at all. And number 2, identify 2 things that you can smell. If you're near flowers, smell that. Anything that you can find that you can smell. And if you can't find anything at all, you could go to the bathroom and smell the hand soap, or just go outside and smell whatever is happening out there. And number 1, identify 1 thing that you can taste. If you don't have anything that you can eat, that you can put into your mouth, maybe you can still taste your morning coffee in your mouth, or the lunch or snack that you recently had. If you have gum, you can chew that and focus on the taste of it. By focusing on other things beyond what our mind is focusing on, the negativity, it helps distract us for a few minutes. It gives us a break so that we can pause and come back to it in a different mindset, if possible. So that when you do return from doing the 5-4-3-2-1, you could choose a more productive thought or action. And it can help change the brain's neural pathway when done often. When you're done consecutively, when you do find yourself in situations that are making you feel anxious or nervous. The third way, label your thoughts. When you're feeling yourself getting flustered, catch yourself in that thought. Pause and label it. For example, maybe at work, you're about to submit a work project to your boss, to your supervisor, and negative thinking starts creeping in. Catch yourself. Pause and label it. For example, in this situation, you could label it as, I'm thinking this way because I used to have a manager that would always have something negative to say about my work. And that would really hurt because I had put in so much time and effort to do a good job. I'm thinking this way right now, today, because this happened in the past. but this is not the same manager. And she's been kind to me in the past with her feedback. I am not living in the same situation. How about I give myself a break and choose to think differently about what her reaction could be to my work? So that's just an example about how you can talk yourself through a negative thought that is just caught in your mind. At first, it's going to feel awkward or different, and it's going to require effort. And it's okay, because over time it gets easier. You'll be able to catch yourself when you're being negative, and instead of putting yourself down, recognize it as the negativity bias, and then say, it's okay. I'm going to pivot from this. You could take the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 approach, and that helps you pause. You could label your thoughts, as I mentioned as the last one. And the first one that I had mentioned is you can follow up with a positive thought, the silver lining approach. So there are different ways that you could take the negative thought and spin it to a positive way, thereby helping you cultivate a positive mindset. And then a bonus way to pivot your thoughts from negativity, I really like this way. Give your family, your friends, your colleagues, anyone you meet in your daily life, even at the local coffee shop, give them positive feedback. Not only will you be cheering them on, and that's always a good thing, I don't think we do that enough, you will also be training your brain to form positive neural connections that will help you start thinking positively about yourself and situations that you will find yourself in. It really matters when we speak positive words to others, we start speaking positive words to ourselves. I hope today's show has been helpful to you. Now you know of 3 ways that you can use to pivot the next time you're faced with a situation that is triggering the negative thoughts. Friendly reminder of 2 resources that I have available for you. The first one is our Facebook community. I post motivational, helpful posts a few times a week. So if you're looking for a little bit of inspiration and you hang out on Facebook, you can join me there. Link is in the show notes. And I also have a free morning routine checklist. If you do find yourself wondering how you can make your mornings better, do check out this resource to help inform your current morning routine. Most of my mornings are positive. They're not just, you get out of bed, you're scrambling out of bed and you don't have any time and you're rushing and you're negative from the moment you left your bed. You don't need to live that way if that is happening in your life. So do give the morning routine checklist a look at. It's on the website. The link is in the show notes. And it also comes with bonus affirmations from the Choose Happy Affirmation card deck. So you can give affirmations a try if you're new to using that self-help tool. And remember, my email inbox is always open. I do read all of my emails, so do drop me a line. Even if it's just to say hello, you can just put that in the subject line and just say, hi, my name's Diane, and I just wanted to say hi, because I would love to hear from you. Wishing you a wonderful week. Choosing happy. Cheers! I hope today's episode empowered you to choose happy as you live your upcoming week. If so, please take a minute and share this episode with a family or friend who could benefit from it. I'd also love it if you could take 30 seconds and leave a review on your podcast app. Just scroll down and you'll see the space to leave a review. Doing this helps the show be found by others who are also looking to break free from negative thoughts and live a happy life. Remember to sign up to become a Choose Happy member to receive free resources as they become available. Link is in the show notes. Thank you for listening. Take good care and see you next week.